Most people imagine Malibu as loud and glamorous, but Timothy B. Schmit lives in a calmer corner of it. The Eagles' bassist and vocalist has settled into a canyon home where the days move slowly and music drifts from his studio instead of stadiums. It's Malibu, but quieter and more grounded, a place that reflects who he is when the spotlight fades. And to understand why this quieter life fits him so naturally, we have to go back to where it all started. Timothy B. Schmit was born on October 30th, 1947 in Oakland, California, and grew up in Sacramento, where a quiet childhood filled with tap dancing lessons and early curiosity slowly pushed him toward music. By age 15, that curiosity had turned into a small but determined path when he joined Tim, Tom, and Ron, a folk trio that quickly reinvented itself as the surf-oriented Contenders, then New Breed, and finally glad each evolution carried him deeper into the West Coast scene, and by 1965, he had a regional radio hit with Green-Eyed Woman. Their 1968 album Feelin' Glad didn't make national waves, but it marked the moment Timothy stopped being a kid chasing a dream and stepped fully into the life of a real musician. From there, the path changed in a way only fate can explain. In 1968, Schmit auditioned for the rising country rock band Poco, but the spot went to Randy Meisner. A year later, Meisner left, and the band called Timothy back. What seemed like a closed door was the beginning of an 8-year chapter that would define him as an artist. Between 1969 and 1977, he recorded 9 studio albums and 2 live albums with Poco, helping to define the group's warm melodies and gentle storytelling. His song, Keep On Tryin', became their biggest single in 1975, a song that still reflects the precision of his gentle voice more than anything else he wrote in those years. That steady rise eventually led him to a chapter that would mark his mark in rock history. In 1977, Meisner left the Eagles, and once again, Timothy stepped into his shoes as bassist and lead vocalist. His first major breakthrough came on 1979's The Long Run, a 7-times platinum album built on hit singles like Heartache Tonight and I Can't Tell You Why, the latter of which Schmit co-wrote and performed. It was the moment his voice, already renowned for its lush harmonies, finally got to shine. When the Eagles disbanded in 1980, Timothy didn't back down. Instead, he ventured into the world of studio music, becoming one of the most unsung, essential backing vocalists in American rock. His fingerprints are everywhere, from Don Felder's Heavy Metal Takin' a Ride to Bob Seger's Fire Lake, Toto's Africa, and I Won't Hold You Back, Don Henley's Dirty Laundry, Richard Marx's Don't Mean Nothing, Stacy Q's Heartbeat, and even backing vocals on Steely Dan's Pretzel Logic, The Royal Scam, and Aja. This was a period when Schmit was no longer a band member, but a musical thread that weaved its way into the sound of a generation. More than a decade later, the story returned to the beginning. The Eagles reunited in 1994 for the live album Hell Freezes Over, which debuted at number 1 and featured Schmit on Love Will Keep Us Alive. Their next studio project didn't arrive until 2007, when Long Road Out of Eden topped the charts once again and won 2 Grammys, proof that their music and Timothy's voice still resonated deeply. Parallel to these important chapters was a quieter but equally significant path, Schmit's solo career. Beginning with 1984's Playin' It Cool, and followed by 1987's Timothy B., Tell Me the Truth, Feed the Fire, Expando, and Leap of Faith, he carved out a personal space that was independent of stadium or chart pressure. His touring life also extended, performing with Toto in 1982, Jimmy Buffett's Coral Reefer Band from 1983 to 1985, where he famously dubbed himself Parrot Heads, Ringo Starr and his all-star band in 1992, 1992, and a 2000 tour with Dan Fogelberg. Over 6 decades, Timothy B. Schmit has built a career defined not by spectacle, but by steady craft, quiet harmony, and a voice that slips effortlessly into the songs people return to again and again. That same calm, enduring spirit now shapes his life in Malibu, where the noise falls away and the rhythm finally slows. Now let's step into his residence to see how that long journey lives in the walls of the home he chose, luxury villa in Malibu. Perched along a quiet ridge in Latigo Canyon, Timothy B. Schmidt's Malibu retreat feels like a world lifted above the noise. Bought for a little more than $5 million, the estate spans 8,558 square feet and offers wide views of the ocean, mountains, and canyon that shift with the weather. With 7 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, and a layout built for privacy, it's a home made for quiet mornings and slow evenings, the kind of peace he came to appreciate after decades on the road. Step through the entrance and everything softens right away. Travertine floors, alder wood trims, and big windows bring in natural light from every direction. Nothing about the foyer feels showy. It's simple, open, and steady. It quietly tells you that this is a home meant to be lived in, not performed in. The formal living room faces Point Dume. A classic fireplace sits at the center, surrounded by warm, clean tones. Tall windows frame the coastline like a giant painting. On a normal day, it's easy to picture Timothy sitting down for a moment, resting his hands after playing, letting the calm settle around him before getting back to work. In the middle of the house is the kitchen, the real heart of the home. A Wolf stove, double ovens, and a big island make it practical for any kind of cooking, whether it's a simple breakfast or a slow, late dinner. It opens into the family room where mornings stay quiet and evenings stretch out naturally. Friends drop by. Someone picks up a guitar. Someone else pours coffee. It all happens in this easy, familiar corner. Upstairs, the master suite follows the same down-to-earth feel. The private balcony looks over the canyon, and the bathroom comes with a spa tub and a large mosaic tile shower. The room isn't filled with decorations. It's clean and simple, made for resting more than anything else. It's where he resets after long weeks, where early mornings feel unhurried, and where the quiet of the canyon replaces the noise of touring life. Beyond the main area is the more relaxed wing of the house. The small movie theater, a spacious gym, and a couple of extra rooms that can be used however the day requires. Guests, hobbies, storage, or just a quiet space to sit. These rooms feel casual, like places meant for real life, not for display. And then there's the music room, the most personal part of the house. Guitars line the walls, amps sit in familiar spots, and cables run where musicians actually use them. It's not perfect or staged, but it feels honest. Some days he plays alone, trying out a melody or adjusting a tone. Other days, old friends stop by, open a case, and start playing something from memory. It's the room that holds the most stories, the most hours, and the most pieces of who he is. Outside, the property opens wide into the ridge. The infinity pool looks directly toward the canyon, catching the last light of the day. A small spa sits nearby, and long terraces wrap around the house, perfect for slow afternoons or quiet evenings. The separate 2-bedroom guest house gives visitors their own space, something musicians appreciate when they drop in for a few days of writing or recording. The yard is large enough for almost anything. A tennis court, a small orchard, a vegetable garden, or simply open land to walk around when the day feels heavy. Even though Malibu is close, the house feels tucked away, like a private corner built just for a quieter version of life. In the end, Timothy B. Schmidt's Malibu home is more than an estate. It's a sanctuary carved from light, wind, and long-earned stillness. And while this canyon retreat holds the quiet of his later years, another chapter of his California life unfolded miles away, in a warm Calabasas home with a very different rhythm. Villa in Calabasas. Timothy B. Schmidt's Calabasas home is the place he and his family return to often, splitting their time between here and Malibu set inside the Oaks, an exclusive private community known for quiet streets and understated luxury. The $3 million, 3,814 square foot residence feels like the grounded half of his California life. There's nothing flashy about it. It's simply a peaceful home to land in after years of touring, recording, and moving from city to city. The first thing you see is the private courtyard, where a small fountain runs softly in the background and a pergola casts cool shade over a simple sitting area. It sets the tone immediately. The space feels almost like a small resort tucked away from the noise, giving you a moment to breathe before you even step inside. A short stone path leads to the front door, opening into a foyer full of light. Inside, the grand entryway rises with tall ceilings and a sweeping circular staircase. Natural light pours in from above, reflecting off the fresh paint and new flooring that give the entire house a clean, inviting warmth. On each side of the foyer sit the formal living and dining rooms, both anchored by classic fireplaces. These aren't rooms built to impress visitors. They're rooms made for quiet afternoons, slow mornings, and the kind of stillness that settles in when life finally moves at a gentler pace. Just beyond, the family room connects effortlessly to the fully upgraded chef's kitchen. The granite island sits at the center, surrounded by double ovens, a built-in 48-inch refrigerator, and a wine cooler tucked neatly against the wall. The bright cabinetry keeps the room airy, and a small breakfast nook near the window catches the soft morning sun. It's the kind of spot where someone can sit with a cup of coffee while the rest of the house slowly wakes up. Upstairs, the master suite becomes a retreat of its own. The bedroom is large and open, with a private sitting area perfect for reading or winding down at night. A small gym sits just off the room, and the spa-style bathroom with double sinks adds a quiet sense of comfort. The oversized closets keep the space uncluttered, and the balcony overlooking the green park-like yard makes the whole suite feel peaceful and secluded. 4 additional bedrooms and an upstairs family room fill the second floor with light and an easy rhythm, especially when the whole family is home. Down a quieter hallway, Timothy keeps a dedicated music room. It's simple. Wooden floors, 2 guitars resting against the wall, a small amp setup, and a desk with lyric notes scattered across it. The space has the same intimate energy as the writing corner in his Malibu home. It's where ideas start before they ever become full songs, a small sanctuary carved out for creativity. Outside, the property opens into a private oasis. There's a sparkling pool, a spa, fountains tucked between the landscaping, multiple lounging areas, and a built-in BBQ surrounded by tall, mature trees. The backyard feels sheltered, almost hidden, and it matches exactly the kind of calm Timothy values these days. The wind moves through the trees, the water stays quiet, and the world slows down in a way that makes the whole place feel lived in and steady. Seen as a whole, the Calabasas home reflects a life that has shifted into balance, comfortable, warm, and shaped by decades of music but no longer defined by the rush of it. This home may be where Timothy slows down, but it holds only one half of his story. Beyond these quiet rooms and shaded corners, there's another space shaped by movement, memory, and the late-night drives that have followed him through every era of his career. Step outside and the calm shifts, because waiting in the garage is a lineup of cars that trace the roads he's traveled and the life he's lived behind the wheel. Car collection. Timothy B. Schmidt's car collection is small but telling. 2 vehicles that reflect the man he is, one rooted in the present and one shaped by memory. The car he drives now is a dark blue Audi A7 Sportback, a modern liftback worth between $75,000 and $85,000. Beneath its sleek lines is a 335 horsepower, 3.0-liter turbocharged V6 mated to quattro all-wheel drive and a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission powerful enough to tackle Malibu's canyon curves without being ostentatious. Inside, A dual touchscreen cockpit and Bang & Olufsen sound system create a soothing environment where he can enjoy the long drive between Malibu and Calabasas without feeling rushed. It's elegant, quiet, and effortlessly comfortable, perfectly suited to the slow pace he's achieved. Deeper in his story lies something much more humble. A Nissan D21 pickup from the late 80s and 90s, the humble but sturdy truck that got him through his earlier, less glamorous years. Today, it's worth between $6,000 and $12,000. But for Timothy, its true value lies in the memories, the small beginnings, the long journeys, and the early stages when fame hadn't quite arrived yet. These two vehicles, different in era but connected in spirit, trace the full arc of Timothy's life. The miles he worked for, the comfort he earned, and the calm he now chooses every day. Quiet, steady, and deeply personal, they reflect the man far better than any luxury fleet ever could. Now let's explore how that same steady rhythm shaped the financial legacy behind his career, income, and net worth. Timothy B. Schmidt's financial world is defined by a quiet but steady foundation. A $25 million net worth built on royalties, touring revenue, and the long life of his music catalog. His earliest income came with Poco, where he earned about $120,000 to $150,000 per year in the early 1970s. It wasn't transformative, but it laid the groundwork for what came next. His earnings increased dramatically after joining the Eagles in 1977, stepping into one of the highest-grossing bands in rock. From album royalties, publishing shares, and global tours, Schmit earned approximately $1 to $3 million per tour cycle, particularly during blockbuster runs like Hell Freezes Over and Long Road Out of Eden. These tours, combined with ongoing royalties from the Eagles' catalog, remain the core of his financial base. Beyond the band, Schmit built a reliable secondary income from solo albums and touring, generating $200,000 to $400,000 per cycle, depending on album releases and tour length. His most consistent outside earnings came from his extensive session work, performing on albums by Steely Dan, Bob Seger, Jimmy Buffett, Richard Marx, and many others. These collaborations still return an estimated $150,000 to $250,000 annually in residual royalties. Real estate adds long-term value. His longtime Malibu home, purchased decades ago, is now valued at $5 million, contributing a solid portion of his net worth and remaining one of his most stable financial assets. Beyond Malibu, Schmit also owns a $3 million property in Calabasas, California, a quieter but upscale pocket favored by musicians and industry insiders. Earlier in his financial journey, he sold a historic Whitley Heights home in Los Angeles in 2016 for $1.9 million, closing out a chapter in one of Hollywood's oldest hillside neighborhoods. Through catalog royalties, real estate appreciation, conservative investments, and residual payments, Schmidt's current annual income is estimated at $1 to $2 million, a calm, consistent flow that mirrors the way he has approached his career. All of it adds up to a life built on quiet momentum, steady income, smart choices, and music that continues to earn long after the lights fade. And from that calm financial foundation comes something even more meaningful: the way he chooses to give back. Philanthropy. Timothy B. Schmidt's charitable work is modest in scale but clear in purpose, centered primarily on music education and community-focused programs. His most significant contribution is the Timothy B. Schmit Scholarship at Berklee College of Music, launched in 2008. Endowed scholarships at Berklee generally require an initial donation of $50,000 to $100,000, and Schmit is believed to have funded his scholarship within that range to support Bass students facing financial barriers. Beyond Berklee, Schmit has taken part in multiple fundraising events benefiting community music initiatives and health-related causes. These events typically generate $10,000 to $25,000 each, with his involvement coming through appearances, performances, or direct contributions. After recovering from throat and neck cancer in 2012, he extended his support to smaller health-focused programs, including charity concerts and awareness events. These engagements generally raise $5,000 to $10,000 per event. In total, Schmidt's charitable contributions are estimated at $70,000 to $150,000, consistently directed toward music education, community development, and health support. His philanthropic record shows a clear pattern of intentional giving, modest in scale, yet consistently directed toward education, community development, and health support, reflecting a man who values purpose over publicity. Next, we turn to his personal life, where the same grounded spirit defines his day-to-day routine. Personal life. Life for Timothy B. Schmit today is defined by quiet routines and the comfort of a slower pace. Most mornings begin with soft light pooling into the living room, where he keeps a few favorite guitars, a small upright piano, and the recording setup he still uses when ideas drift in. He likes simple starts, brewing coffee, opening the windows, and taking a few minutes to settle into the day before picking up an instrument. Family has always been the center of gravity. Long before the stadiums and the spotlight, he married Noreen during his Poco years, and together they welcomed their daughter, Jedra. That marriage ended in the mid-1970s, but the memories of that early chapter remain soft, never sharp. In 1983, he found a steadier kind of partnership with Jean Cromie, the woman who has walked beside him through every reinvention. At home, the atmosphere is calm and steady. With all three children now building stable lives of their own, the house feels more spacious, but not empty. Timothy and his wife Jean enjoy the kind of partnership that moves gently. Shared breakfasts, unhurried afternoons, small errands they prefer to do together, and quiet evenings where the television hums in the background. They still split time between Malibu and Calabasas, choosing whichever place feels right for the week. But both homes carry the same warm, lived-in character they've created over decades. These days, Timothy enjoys being part of everyday life in his community. He can often be spotted at familiar cafes around Malibu, usually choosing an outdoor table where he can sit unnoticed with a notebook, a book, or just a cup of coffee. He chats with neighbors, waves to people who recognize him, and moves with the ease of someone who no longer feels pulled by the old pace of touring. Music still plays a steady role, but on his own terms. Some days he spends hours in his home studio, experimenting with bass lines or singing softly into a mic just to see where a melody leads. Other days, he sets everything aside to enjoy the quiet, long walks near the canyon, tending to small fixes around the house, or sitting on the porch with Jean as the sun fades. He still says yes to the occasional recording session or charity event, especially when it involves close friends, but he keeps his schedule light and flexible. Health is another part of his routine he takes seriously. After years of performing, he prefers a balanced, mindful lifestyle, stretching in the mornings, eating clean, and keeping stress low. He's not chasing anything anymore. He's protecting what he has: his voice, his well-being, his peace. Evenings are usually the softest part of the day. Timothy likes picking up a guitar and playing quietly, not for a crowd, not for a record, just because it still feels natural. Jean reads or watches a show nearby, and the house settles into the kind of silence that only comes when life finally matches a person's spirit. It's a simple rhythm, but it's a happy one. A chapter built on calm routines, family stability, and the music that continues to flow through his days in an easy, unforced way. If you'd like to keep exploring the real lives behind the music, remember to like, subscribe, and tell us which legendary figure you want to see next.